Hey guys, this is a follow-up video about the shuttle feeding machine and trying to repair the rollers on the inside. I've got some interesting updates for you about that, which I'll go into right now. So I'd been in touch with the Amazon seller about the rollers seeming to wear down once I'd opened up the machine, and they agreed with me that they would send me some new rollers, not for free, but I had to buy a very basic item off their store, some cheaper €20 item, I think it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. Once they received the order for that, they then just said they will send me a bunch of these rollers. So I got a total of these 6 rollers, and you can very clearly see how much it wears down over time. The bottom one is the new roller, top one is the one that I'd been using for probably a few weeks, and it just wears down so quickly. So since I have 6 of these new rollers, I'm going to try to coat them to prevent the wearing down and see how that experiment works. But as you can see, I actually have this gardening knee pad, which, if all else fails and none of my experiments work and I have to work with the basic rollers themselves, there seems to be these things which you can buy from the garden centre, which seem to be of a similar density and thickness that perhaps I can cut skillfully through to make the rollers for myself if it comes to that, but I'm hoping not to. So rather than just fitting the new rollers and just going out and playing badminton again with them, I thought, how can I coat them such that they don't just wear down and last longer, maybe indefinitely? And I came up with the idea of using this stuff called Rust-Oleum leak seal. It's as you can see, flexible rubber coating, and I bought it in white, so it's sharp very clearly against the black as to how well it's performing. So now these rollers have been sprayed twice, left to dry for 24 hours. You can see pretty good coating, and I put masking tape around the side so that we don't, get unnecessary weight added to them. So I'm going to try them in the machine now and see how they fare compared to those without. So with the white rollers on board, this is how I tend to play at the badminton club. Stick it on one of the umpire chairs and deliver from there. So let's see how the rollers are performing now they have the rubber coating on top. Yes, and you can also see I use the mains rather than batteries because I find batteries run out very quickly. I think you can see that's performing pretty well. That's as well as it's ever done, my version at least. So I'm pretty happy. Now I'm going to try a couple of hours session, doing some practice, some drills, some clearance smashes, etc. And I will see I'll open up the machine at the end and see how the rollers have fared in the meantime, and the coating, of course. So I performed a 2.5 hour session of training today, and you can see the rollers, you can see the rubber sealant is starting to crack slightly, but nothing terrible. But you can see it's actually worn down to some degree. It's not materially impacted, it's not caused abrasion, or it's wearing down on these areas that are now just black with the white sealant being rubbed off. However, I probably won't use them again until I've given them an extra coat. And I noticed towards the end of my session that the noise of the motor was slightly different, so I'm not quite sure what that was, why it was straining slightly differently, but it was still delivering all the way through the session the same way, just as consistently. And now I have finished the session. The rollers are still as large as they were initially, and we can see the rubber sealant worn down, as I mentioned. I will coat them again before I go out for a session again, and that's how I'll proceed.